Hello everybody, welcome back. We are playing Quakecraft today. So today I want to tell you guys a little bit about myself, which is that I don't take critiques of my work very well. I know some people are like, I thought you said you've been writing for years. Well, actually, I can't remember if I've even told you guys that yet or not. But I have been writing for years. I don't have anything officially published, and that in itself is another conversation for another time. But when I say that I don't take critique well on my work, this isn't to say that I become like the Hulk and I get so angry because somebody just didn't like one of my characters, or they didn't like my genre I'm going with, or, they were just, I just took something personal. Like, it's not that specifically. And I think so many times that is the idea that maybe it's just something that I've always had in my head, where I just assume, okay, if I, don't take criticism well, it's because I'm stubborn. It's because I get personally offended. It's because I don't know how to actually hear what somebody's saying and actually apply it or something. So it kind of puts it on me. So yeah, so taking criticism well can probably mean a lot of things. So, okay, I'm bad. I'm really bad at this. And I died again. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I don't need to play. But yeah, so taking criticism well or not well at all actually means a lot more than I thought it did. And I've been writing for years. So it's like, wow, I mean, where was I? Living under a rock? I don't know. So when I mean that I don't take criticism well, I actually mean that when somebody critiques me, I just assume that they're right and I'm always wrong. I know that probably also as a deeper meaning. I'm not going to think about it. But I am just going to say that if you're a new writer, there is a point that you will have to share your work. If you want to, maybe you just really love the work and you want to share it with somebody. And even if you're never ever going to get it published, you're just like, hey, I want to show, my friend or my parents or something like that. Like, you want to show somebody at some point something that you created. And there's nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, we all know as creatives that with that comes critique. With it comes somebody saying, oh, well, what about this? Or you didn't think about this or this, like this. But in terms of critique, it just, I thought I took critique well, until literally today, when I was thinking about a topic to talk about with you guys, and realizing, oh wow, I don't take critique well. And here's the example. So a few videos ago, I talked about discouragement as a writer. I had just put aside a project. It was a contemporary suspense piece. Die. Okay, nope. Okay, totally missed him. It's fine. We'll get him next time. But so, yeah, so where was I? So I had a contemporary suspense piece, and I was very discouraged because I did have to put it aside, and I died again. Okay, that's, not advisable. Okay. Not advisable. It's fine. Okay. And now I'm totally losing my train of thought. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I don't even clip these videos well, okay? Because I don't want to clip the whole Quakecraft video, so instead I just keep the whole thing and I just trim like the ends and I just call it good, okay? Like minimal editing, okay? It's like an artistic style that I've developed. Well, maybe I haven't developed. I'm sure that there's somebody else out there that is like, I don't want to edit a lot. And you're just like, pros, get back to the topic you were talking about, which was criticism, okay? Taking critiques and stuff like that. Okay. But yeah, so I had this contemporary suspense piece, and I really loved it, and I was so excited about it. But here's the thing with that piece. The reason why I set it aside is I was getting burnt out. And you might be asking, why was I getting burnt out? Well, I had been through several rounds of critiques on my synopsis for it. I'd gone through everything from the concepts, the character arcs, and then I was up to the synopsis point. And I don't know, I was probably round 10 or so on a synopsis. And just to give some perspective, it probably shouldn't take that many rounds. I mean, sometimes it will take a lot of rounds. Other times, it just... Oh my goodness, I died again. But 10 rounds definitely was a lot for something that should be pretty straightforward. And then I had to keep taking out my character arcs again and dismantling those again, even though, you know, they were pretty much finalized. And at the end of the day, it really was... I was getting so many critiques, and I kept changing things. And I kept changing things. And so I was doing what I thought was the right thing with a critique. You know, you hear the feedback and you say, okay, this person knows what they're talking about, so therefore these are the changes that I should have to make. But instead what happened is I kept changing things, and then it created more problems. And I changed more things, and it created even more problems. And I realized that I didn't recognize my story anymore. I didn't recognize my characters as much. And, like, a good example, specifically my characters, was I had an antagonist, the villain of my story, basically. And he was supposed to be this big, bad, you know, character, and eventually, all of a sudden, like, all these things changed about his character, you know. At one point, he was the only main bad person, and all of a sudden, there was this other character that I had to just quickly add to make up for this other part with this character, and... But, yeah, so at some point, that antagonist, that character that I'd been working on, trying to, you know, elaborate on things that people were finding for the critiques, and trying to make sure that I was bending over backwards to make it happen the way that I thought would be acceptable, it definitely ruined my story. And it won't ruin it permanently, I can guarantee you guys that, but it ruined my excitement about the story. It ruined how the story was even, you know, coming across. Like, it was transforming my story beyond what I could recognize. And I was getting so burnt out because I kept going through different rounds of critiques. And this is my disclaimer here, that I am never ever gonna say critiques are bad, that they are unnecessary, that they are harmful, like specifically, like, you know, targeted, like, harmful for your story. They're actually incredibly useful. I was able to solve a lot of problems, a lot of holes that I didn't realize I had. But one thing that every writer will have to go through at some point, well, any creative, is understanding that critiques don't mean you have to change this. Critiques don't mean that the person who critiqued is correct and the person who had the work critiqued was in the wrong. It means nothing like that. It just means that somebody noticed something and they wanted to point it out, and because they care about the story. And like I said, this isn't a critique on the people who critiqued my work, okay? I don't want to be that person that's like, woe is me, okay? I submitted my critique and then they made me change my story, oh no! That's not this at all. That is not this at all. Instead, it's actually, hey, please find a healthy medium between a critique that somebody has for your work, because critiques are so useful. Like, you're going to be so close to a project sometimes that you just can't see the problems that are coming up with it. But in some cases, the person who's critiquing your work might not see the same vision that you have for your work that you want to create. And so it's very important who you get the critique from too. Not that somebody's intentionally going to be like, oh, I'm going to critique this, so that way it destroys their story. No, it's nothing like that. But it's more, you need to find somebody who shares the same vision that you have for your story, who really wants to understand every part of it. And there will be people who are in that middle, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I thought I was going to get them. Never mind. But I just want to emphasize that there is nothing wrong that when you receive critiques, for you to stick up for yourself. Stick up for your story, okay? Your characters and your story have no advocate except for you. Okay, I want to remind you guys that, because today when I was sitting and thinking about it, I realized, oh my goodness, I was failing my own story and my own characters. And there's such a point that when it comes to critique, okay, but when it comes to critique and like the experience in critique, is you're not going to get this from just being like, let me just watch a whole bunch of like YouTube videos. Let me just, read a whole bunch of books and stuff like that. Okay. These are like firsthand experiences that I'm still having. Okay. After like 7-8 years of like deciding I'm going to be a writer, like I'm still experiencing these, problems, I guess you could call them, but really they're just opportunities, and they're moments to figure out and to develop your story as well as who you are as a writer. And to know that a lot of times the critique is really just, it's to enhance your story, okay? It's to enhance and to help you as a writer, okay? The person given the critique, odds are they really do have the best intentions, but being a writer, you have to understand the experience side. And with the experience side, it's really just understanding when to accept and when to reject criticism. And it's to do it politely and to do it, because somebody spent time reading your work or, actually thoughtfully considering it. And so there's nothing wrong with having to reject the work, but just do it politely, I would say. But I don't know. It was just something that I was personally realizing, wow, you know what? I thought I handled this well. And I wonder how many other people might also have thought the same way, that handling criticism well meant to say, oh, yes, thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't think that. Yes, I will make that change. And you could still make that change, and it could still be good. But at some point, you have to know, okay, is this something that, will I be honoring my story by doing this? If the answer is no, my advice would be don't do it. Alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't like the most lighthearted topic, but I felt like it was still a very important topic to talk about, especially since, I personally didn't realize I struggled with it until today. But if you guys did enjoy it, consider liking and subscribing. And if you want to leave a comment, I would love to read it. All right, until next time, see you guys then. Bye.